Hello, welcome to the Saturday Softpot Club. I'm a bit early today because I'm teaching 15 ladies on the other side of Skipton, and I've just realised I'm not going to have time to do this and get over there, so I thought I'd just start early and hopefully you'll tune in later. Today I thought I'd do a simple soft pot with a bangle and then convert it into a hanger. And that's the first part of the simple soft pot course. After this you move on to the classic, which is a reusable pot that you can use in all sorts of different ways. There's lots and lots of different things that you can do with a soft pot, you know. It isn't just the simple soft pot. And what is a soft pot? If you're just tuning in and you don't know, a soft pot is a handmade fabric plant pot, suitable for any plant, indoors or out. And they're made from lady stockings, and they're better for the plant because the roots grow normally and they're not prisoners like plants in conventional plant pots, and they can absorb the water, they can absorb the rain, and they're just much happier plants because they can breathe as well because of the special ingredient inside the soft pot. So anyway, let's crack on. Here I have a leg of 10 denier glossy stocking. Now, when you make a soft pot, if you want them to be really beautiful with all the shiny bits shining through, you need a 10 denier glossy stocking. And if you ask your friends, ask for stockings. You don't want anything heavier really than 15 denier max. It's a completely different ball game if you start using the really heavy stuff because they come out looking funky. What else can I say? This 10 denier glossy, rah, any colour really, but I often find that black tends to bring out the best in all colours. Right, here we are, leg of stocking, one ring, comes with the kit, and I'm just going to drop the stocking leg through the middle of the ring and just put it around the outside. And I use this ring again and again just to shuffle things into it, just to hold the leg open. Yeah, that's all. There's much better ways of using collars and bangles. There's all sorts of different things you can do. So, soft pots themselves are very light. And if you're doing a big hanging basket, don't put gravel in. But as a general rule, I always put a handful of gravel in just to give the soft pot some gravitas. And when it comes to the bounce, it's much easier. Here we are. Got a handful of gravel here, just going to shove it in, and I should add it's washed gravel. You want to try and avoid things with sand in it. Try and avoid sand. There we are. Right, next thing to do is compost. When it comes to compost, any compost is fine as long as it's right for the plant. If it's ericaceous, if it's an ericaceous plant, put in ericaceous compost. This is just a little ivy I'm going to do today. And so that's just a standard sort of compost. So here I have 3 of these scoops in here. That's just compost in there. And then the magic formula is for every 3 scoops of compost, you put 1 scoop of Softpot Gold into it. And that's the secret of a good soft pot, a soft pot that actually behaves properly. You can't make a soft pot without it. You can't even make a sculpture without it. The thing is that stockings, a good pair of stockings, seek to contract. And what happens is that if you just put compost in a leg of stocking, it just compacts and compacts right down to nothing. And eventually the plant, everything dies, you can't get water in or out, you've just got a rock in a sock. This is what makes the difference. Softpot Gold. Can you see? They look like little gold nuggets. Well, actually quite chunky gold nuggets if you ask me. And they are beautiful. Now, Softpot Gold is a natural mineral. It comes from volcanoes and they blow it up like popcorn. And the wonderful thing about it is that in a soft pot, it stops that compaction. It absorbs the water and the nutrients, and just a bit like porridge really, it just releases it to the plant slowly. And you'll find that when you water a soft pot, it just sucks it up like a sponge, holds all of that moisture, And, you know, your pots are good for a week indoors against central heating. So yes, 3 scoops of compost, 1 of Softpot Gold. And I'm just going to mix it in. And when you mix it in, it should look like a rather scrummy looking Christmas cake. Yeah. I can see that people are tuning in here. Oh, hello. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Sue. Yes, I am early this week. I'm teaching 15 ladies on the other side of Skipton, and I've just realised I can't do this and be there. So this is it. I'm early, yeah. We're going to have a lovely day today making soft pots, teaching people to make soft pots. I absolutely adore that, you know. It's just such a pleasure to see what happens to people. It just opens your heart making a soft pot. You know, it doesn't matter how grumpy you are. And you see, there we are. You see, that's a lovely, lovely mix. And you see what I mean about looking like a cake mix? And the wonderful thing about this is that when you put it in the soft pot, it stays where it is. Don't bother with that perlite stuff. Oh, you know those little white styrofoam balls? Don't do it. If you're desperate to make a soft pot, use grit, use gravel. It'll make it a heavy pot. It won't absorb. It won't be a soft pot. But that perlite stuff is disgusting. And what happens is every time you water it, it all comes up to the top. And after 2 weeks, you've got the aftermath of a football match on the top of your pot. And you've got this compaction happening underneath. So, no, don't think about that. Right, here we go. Got my stocking, got my mix. Now, the best thing to do if you're going to fill your stocking, do it this way, is let gravity do the work. There we go. I'm just going to hang my stocking over the top of the bucket, and I'm not resting it, it's just letting gravity do the work, and it's just falling in there. Just lovely, see? Right. Now I've got to this stage, I don't need the ring. Get rid of that. And then I'm going to do the bounce. I don't know whether you can see. The bounce is something that children just love. And adults too. It brings out your inner child. What can I say? All I'm going to do is bounce it on the floor. And as I'm bouncing it, all that compost is dropping to the bottom in a nice loose pile. And that's exactly what you want. And ooh, when it gets all to the bottom, it has this satisfying thud. There we go. And you've got that nice fat bottom shape there. Right, let's just bring my table back and see if you can see it. Yeah? Yeah. Oh, Viv! Hello! And Helen! Goodness me, you're all up really early. Hello! Lots of love to you. Thank you for tuning in. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the donut. Got my 2 thumbs into the middle of the pot, and I'm moving my fingers round, and I'm feeling actually for any lumps. Squish them. If you can't squish them, put your hand in, get them out, because it affects the drainage, and it's a bit like cellulite. All of a sudden it shows, and you get these lumps on the side of your pot sticking out. So hope no lumps. Right, there we are. I'm lump free. I'm giving all of them a good squish. Right, there we are. Going to take my fingers in from the top. Going to bring it down. Da 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 da. Give it a stretch so it's got some idea of what you're going to do. And then at this point, the most difficult part, getting a soft pot, making a soft pot really, is getting the plant into the stocking in the first place. Sometimes it can be really messy. It's too dry, too wet, it all falls all over the place. Anyway, here goes. I'm taking, come to me, close your eyes, come to me. There we are. Actually, this one's not too bad. And then, if you're teaching children, by the way, just hold the stocking open for them and just let them drop it in. And what I'm going to do is, one way or another, I'm going to stretch that neck as wide as I can, and after a while, and especially if nobody's watching or you're not being videoed, you get good at it, you get really good. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop it in and just plonk it on the top of the pot, and then bring this right up over its head and just tie that loosely, because you have to undo it, out of the way. And then here, can you see, there it is sitting on top of the pot, and you see how beautiful the Softpot Gold is inside the pot. You know, you don't always have to go out dressed like a Christmas tree. A lot of plants really like to be quiet, and if you just make a plain old soft pot with no decoration whatsoever, it's well worth remembering, because when you put it outside it goes dark and the soft pot gold glistens through and it looks like stone. It really does. Yeah, I mean, you can paint them, you can decorate them, but a naked soft pot is not to be forgotten. Yeah. Anyway, here we go, on we go. Right, got my soft pot here. Going to take my finger, put my thumb on its shoulder, and then I'm just going to bring up the blankets. I always tend to think of them at this stage a bit like children. You pop them into bed, and now all you have to do is bring up the blankets and tuck them in. And it's really kind, it's lovely. And you just bring it up to the neck, just up to the neck. You don't want to bring it up any further than that, really, because otherwise you'll finish up with it all up in the leaves, and then it can finish up in your dress, which you don't want. So don't worry about the shape either. At this point, it doesn't matter. When you've finished, it'll take any shape that you want to give it. And hi Annie, you're on early today. Yeah, I am. This is true. I'm an early bird. Right. Hi Steve. Right, what I'm going to do is, this is a simple soft pot, and actually a simple soft pot, I teach this first of all because it's the simplest pot to learn, and also it's the only one that's really non-spill. So if you live in a house with dogs, cats, clumsy people, you move a lot, this is the pot for you. And what I'm going to do is I'm just slicing the top, just a slice off the top of that stocking. There we are, I've got a loop, going to cut it again, and then I'm going to, by the way, if you ever need to make ties, stick with using the nylon, because your fingers get used to it and they depend on how they stretch, and after a while your fingers know how they stretch. I've seen people use bits of plastic ratchet and all sorts, and it cuts through, it's horrible. I'm tying the knot, and I'm tying this just when it gets to the point I think, oh, maybe that's a bit tight, but I can still get my finger under. That's where you tie the knot. Tie it there, boof. One knot, and because I'm a neat and tidy person, I have to chop off the ends, but you don't have to. Right. It's decorating time. When it comes to decorating your soft pot, the world is your oyster. But there are a couple of things that you should remember. And it might come as a surprise, a lot of people are surprised. When it comes to decorating your soft pot, you have to use artificial materials. If you use cotton, felt, silk, sacking, linen, anything like that, it goes slimy, it rots between the layers and it goes slimy, and it turns into this horrible slimy soft pot. So don't do it, because you just won't even want to bother trying to rescue the plant. It's just so horrible. So artificial materials only, except for colour grass, which I'll explain in a little bit. And so anyway, yeah, what I want is some colour. And here I have, let's have a look at that. I have a bit of red organza. Any sort of synthetic material is good. Scarves, all sorts of things. And I'm just going to slice it a little bit down the middle, rip it, and then just wrap it round, and that's your petticoat. And the wonderful thing is that if you use a petticoat, everything else sits on top of it. And the colour grass, it actually is natural. It does fade back. But as it fades back, all these bits that you put under here start moving forward. And you'll find that your soft pot just keeps on evolving. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is I'm just chopping off any bits around here that might go underneath, because one of the golden rules about soft pots Doesn't really matter how much you put on the side, but you need to keep it thin underneath, and there are techniques for doing that. Every time you put a new layer on, just cut the foot off so that it's only on the side, not underneath. If you put too many layers on, you finish up with a pot that's, well, hermetically sealed. Hello, Zoe. Oh, how are you? How lovely. I've been watching you and your horse. What a pretty horse you've got. Oh, beautiful. Right, and so now we're moving on. Ah, yes, there's, actually I've taken all my bits and chopped them up to take with me. I mean, this is perhaps not the most ideal colour, but yes, what you can do is you can put bits of material, and again, I'm just using that tie that I put round its neck as a means of just holding everything in place, and that's why you need to be able to get your finger through. And I'm just popping it in, and you could just keep on doing that, put in loads and loads and loads of stuff if you want. Ooh. You know, I bought a bit of a scarf, and the thing is that these days second-hand shops are quite expensive, but having said that, you get quite a lot out of a scarf. And what you're after when you're decorating are textures, anything with colour, texture, holes in it, anything like that, just fantastic. And I'm just going to layer that round as well. There we go. One of the nice things about ivy is that it will wear any colour that you want to give it. We're coming into the summer now, and one of the things that happens is that you'll get plants with very definite colours, definite flowers, and the best thing to do actually is just reflect the colours that are within the plant itself, because you'll find that you know, it's a bit like if you've got blue eyes and you wear a blue jumper, it enhances your colour, and it's the same with the plant. You dress it in its own colours and it just reinforces it, and it goes, hello, look at me, I'm beautiful. Yeah. Right, colour graphs, let's get on with it. These are the colours. So many colours, so many colours, so many colours. Beautiful colours. And one of the things that I found with colour graphs, it is a natural material. As I said, its colours will fade back, and that's why it's worth putting on a petticoat first. But you don't need very much of it. And what it does is that it acts as a grip for everything else that you're going to put on your plant. And you can fluff it up, light as a cloud, and then just whack it round. Of course, you can mix and match as well. I mean, you can make a soft pot to match anybody's decor indoors. And if they change their decor, you can just change your pot. You're a bit like Barbie dolls in that way. You just change the top dress. What's this? Steph Moon Mama. Oh, hello. Oh, excellent, excellent. Hello, Steph. Right, there we are. I've got a bit of pink on. And as you can see, I mean, I've hardly used any of this ball. It goes a long way. Don't just blag loads of it on. Make it interesting. Put lots of bits and pieces in. Add to it. You just keep on building. Let's have a look at maybe a bit of green. Yeah, let's have a little bit of green. Not much. Just a touch. Da, 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 da. Oh, happiness is making a soft pot. And one of the other things is try and keep stuff a little bit close to the neck, so that it doesn't shift down, because otherwise what happens is that when you bring the top down, everything shifts down, and then you can spend 10 minutes doing that. So yes, you want to sort of make sure that it's fairly well connected around the neck, not too tight, but just there. And let's have a look. Any other colour? Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. No, I'm happy with that. A little bit of that. I mean, the wonderful thing about soft pots, it's a completely serendipitous, random thing. And you think, oh my gosh, look at this, it's just chaos. And actually, at the end, it's like magic. It's a transformation. And it suddenly is order and beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And it doesn't, you don't have to be creative, you know, to make a soft pot. You don't have to be an artist. You can be blind, in fact. I've taught the blind and they've made beautiful soft pots. So, right, okay, let's get on with it. Let's have a look. Ooh, what's this? I've got a bit of hairy wool here. I'll put a bit of hairy wool on. And again, it's just a whole random bit of randomness. And ooh, yes. After you've made 3 or 4 soft pots, you get what I call soft pot eyes. Everything you look at, you think, can I put that in a soft pot? Can I put a soft pot into it? Because of course you can squish them into things, they're sculptable. You really can't go wrong with a soft pot. Yes, I mean you do, and all of a sudden nothing's safe. You know, all my shirts now are cotton because I've chopped the sleeves off all the ones that weren't. Right, a little bit more. Oh, let's put on some Christmas glitter. A little bit of that's quite good. And oh, a bit of green. And the thing is that you look for these things. You know, there's a time of year, starting with Halloween, and all of a sudden all the glittery stuff comes out. Get it. When you see it, buy it. Because all of a sudden it's gone, and then you have to wait another year to get the glittery bits. So it's, yeah. Yeah. Now, the next thing I'm going to put on are sequins. When in doubt, sequin it out. And I've got, ooh, let's have a look. Let's put on some sequins, and they'll fall through the different layers. But it's funny, you know, eventually it all shows through. You'll see it. Nothing gets lost forever. We'll put on a little bit of that as well. Those are different coloured ones. And I don't mind saying, Poundland. Best place to get sequins. Otherwise they're really, really expensive everywhere else. Right, here we go. Now, I think, have I got a bangle? Hang on a mo. Right, I've just got a bangle here. It's just a bangle that, you know, kids bangle, wrist bangle. This is the only time you can put a bangle actually on a soft pot. Oh, Viv, the lovely soft pot mushroom still looks beautiful after all these years of living under a tree. They do, you know. Soft pots last such a long time. And of course, you know, if they look a bit tired, you can either repaint them or redress them. I mean, if you've been standing outside all year for, you know, 5 or 6 years, your dress might not look so good either. And it's just so easy to just, bah, you know, whack another dress on the top and they're ready to go to the ball. I think this is sort of about ready to go to the ball. I mean, people always say, when do you know when to stop? And I always say, when it looks like a fairy ready to go to the ball. And I think this does. So, I've dropped my bangle over the top. I'm just going to forget that now. And just continue as normal. I'm pushing up a little bit of this material underneath the bangle, because I want that to show. And then, here we go. Let's just do it. Da 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 da. Oop. Right, taking my fingers down. Sometimes it's a surprise to remember that there's a plant in here, isn't it? Right, taking my fingers down, and you see that shape? I've got my thumbs on the back, those two hands. I'm just going to go grab, 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 grab. Take it down, take it round. There we are. You see how dark it is. Got a lot more work to do before we actually get everything to pop. And one of the things is that everything here is all decorated. When you go to pick up your soft pot, grab it underneath, and there's an area there that's clear. Can you see? Grab that, get your hand around that, and don't let go, because you want to keep that as clear as possible. with your other hand, just take it down over your arm and gently, gently, just pull down, and you can see with the other hand, anything that's knocking about down below the level of the pot, just unceremoniously shove it back up. This is where everything changes, you know. There's no point being myopic with the soft pot because it all changes right at the very end. So I'm having a look at that, and yeah, I can see I'm not unhappy with that. Yeah, anything I want to move or switch around, of course I can do. And then, this would be a simple soft pot. You would just turn it upside down, grab it close to its bum, keep that out of the way, it'll try and get involved, and then just twizzle. And by twizzling it, this is called the twizzle, by twizzling it, you're forcing as much tension into the stocking as it's possible to get, making the stocking as sheer as it's possible for it to be. And see, da-da. Now I'm just going to tie a simple knot right underneath its bum. There. And that is how you make a simple soft pot. And then we put this bangle in, if you remember. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to just take a slice of stocking, cut it again, get a stretchy bit of string, and then I'm going to take that and force it underneath that bangle, and that will give it definition. See? And at this point you can give it any shape that you like. Now I'm going to turn this into a hanger, so I want it to be sort of pointy at the bottom. Now, see, that's your simple soft pot turned into a bangle collar soft pot. And it's beautiful, isn't it? And then from there, we're going to continue. Hopefully you've got enough left. Yep, I think we have. Now every time you put another layer on, it darkens it down. But there are things you can do about that. I'm going to take what's left under here and I'm going to bring it back up over the pot and just bounce it a little bit so it drops down. And then I'm going to tie a knot there at one point, just at the top of the plant there, wherever I think it's probably right for it, and another one there. Now of course these hangers you can decorate, you can put beads on, you can do all sorts of things, but I'm just showing you the basic technique. Again, as I said with soft pots, as long as they're made right on the inside, how you decorate them, what you do, is entirely up to you. Now I'm cutting a hole through between those two knots, and I've got myself a nice little hanging thing there, little handle to hold. And then I'm going to take another slice of tie, and tie it round again. And then, if you stretch this neck bit here, you can just nick it and bring it up. Now, that makes a rather nice single-sided hanger there. I use this if I've got a plant that the slugs like, because if it's against the wall, they have to get past this back area here. And actually, slugs don't like tights or stockings because it sucks the slime off them. Yeah. So anyway, you can have it that way, single way, nick it again, bring it up. You'd be amazed, you know, how strong tights are, and how you can keep on doing this so many times and you'll finish up with a really, really thin. There we are. I'm just doing it 4 times. But it shows you what can be done. And then, it's very, very pretty. And that bit underneath, I just chop that off. And then if you wanted, you can just nick it. And it will just show the colours as are underneath. And it gives it a neat polka dot effect. Can you see? And it just allows the other colours underneath to pop through. And the wonderful thing, you know, with soft pots is if you make a hole, if you make a ladder, it's not a mistake. Just make more holes, more ladders. And, you know, even if it's all hanging out, just poof, put another layer right over the top and suddenly it's perfect again. You cannot make a mistake with a soft pot. As long as it's made right on the inside, it's got the soft pot gold, you're okay. What you do is entirely up to you. And I should mention actually, Softpot Gold, you can get it in from a website. You can get it from a Facebook shop, I think. And what it is I just send you enough to do maybe 10 or 15 pots. I mean, you don't need, you know, you're not going to make hundreds, are you? And if you are, then you join me on my course. By the way, I thought I'd mention, I do have a YouTube channel, and if you would subscribe, somebody said that I should tell everyone you need to subscribe if you would, and I'm going to keep on teaching on there the more advanced stuff. And yes, I've got everything you need to make a soft pot, barring the plant, the gravel and the compost at your end. And I do different size kits, party kits, have a soft pot party. Oh, it's a lovely way to make a hen night. Really special, and everyone goes home with something special. Right, there we are. I've shown you, by the way, this is called tonksing, when you just nick holes rather than creating ladders. And now, can you see? Da 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 da. It's a very, very, very pretty little hanging pot. What's that? Have the tights ever ripped on you while making a soft pot? Yes, they do, they can. And as I said, you know, if you nick a hole and it goes straight through to the compost, you just put another layer of stocking over the top. Just even a slice of stocking acts as a bandage. I mean, really, soft pots are, you know, just, you know, bodge it till you make it. As long as they're right on the inside, you know, the world is your oyster. Anything you fancy. There we go. Anyway, I thought I'd share this with you before I go whizzing off and teaching those ladies. And I do hope that you'll join me hopefully next week. And I'll do something different. I'll figure out something else to do. This is the first part of the first half of the course. And what is here is a simple soft pot made into a bangle collar, converted into a simple hanger. And have a go. Order a kit. join me next week and follow along. It's such a lovely thing to do. It makes you happy. And I'd like to thank every single one of you for joining me here today. I'm very grateful. And share, yes. I mean, Softpots are about love. Softpots are about kindness. And when you make them, Softpots are about happiness. It's the simplest form of happy making thing I know. Something about working with a living plant, the earth, and your own creative energy. You can't go wrong. So, until next week, thank you very much indeed, and see you soon. Ho.